All right, here we go. In three, two, one. Back at it here on the Alaska Sports Talk podcast. So glad to have you along wherever you might get your podcast. Breaking news, another NFL trade. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That was
Yeah.
a lot of stuff happening today in the NFL world, and that's for sure. Miles Garrett on the move. Obviously, that's the big one. AJ Brown on the move. So hopefully your team's the one out there making the moves. I know that we're moving and shaking here. Brad Lowers, Isaiah Vreeman, myself, Keaton Homer. Glad to have you along wherever you get your podcasts. A lot of stuff happening over the last week in the realm of high school sports, and also more to come this week with state softball and state baseball championships taking place. So we'll take a look at the brackets in those respective sports. We'll also recap high school soccer as well as the state championships for that took place last week. There was also state track and field championships last week as well. So it is a busy, busy time of year. The ABL, the Alaska Baseball League, kicked off tonight. I know the Glacier Pilots, they are playing the Fairbanks Gold Panthers at Mulcahy Stadium as we are recording this podcast right now. So
Oh,
uh, it is in full swing. A lot of stuff happening. A lot of stuff.
'tis the
So
season.
it is the season. And Brad, I know that your plate's full with a lot of stuff. I'm sure you're getting ready to go on a trip. So,
Getting ready to go Akiak, where there's not much reception, but there are some basketball kids, and we're going to go make some things happen. And the exciting part is it'll cost a little more, but we're not going to get on the small plane. So I insisted that we find a boat, and I can swim better than I can crash. Who is it? What did the comedian say that they say that, you know, a large amount of deaths on planes either during a takeoff or a landing. And his view was really 100% take place on landing. You know, even if you barely get off the ground, you know, it's pretty much when you land.
all right, very morbid start here to the
Wow.
podcast. All
Oh
right,
my
yeah.
word.
Holy mackerel. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
I
mean,
hope
I
no
see his
one's
point. I see
Yeah.
his
I hope
point.
I hope no
Wait,
one's listening
wait,
to this podcast while they're flying.
wait till, wait till Isaiah gets going. That'll be morbid.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Oh,
Where do we want to start? We want to start recapping D1 soccer from
yeah,
last week?
let's D1, D2 soccer.
D1 soccer, probably no surprise. We'll start D1 girls soccer. The South Anchorage Wolverines completing a perfect season. They went 20 and 0 over the course of the regular season and on into the state tournament. And perhaps no surprise in their three state championship games, they didn't give up a goal.
Yeah.
That's how you win a lot of games. You don't give up goals.
It's when you don't give up a goal and you score a lot, that leads to a lot of success.
Yeah, yeah.
Words to live by.
South won 4-0 over West Valley in their quarterfinal round game, and then they defeated Dimond 4-0 in the semifinals. And then in the championship game, they played the sixth seed Wasilla Warriors um, and won 5-0. Wasilla, by the way, kind of pulled an upset. They took down the number
Yeah.
two seed Chugiak 2-1 in the semifinals to get themselves into the state championship game. Dimond ended up taking up third place in this year's girls Division One state soccer tournament as they defeated Chugiak in that third place game 2-1. But the South Anchorage Wolverines girls soccer program keeping it rolling. I mean, an impressive 20 and 0 season, and we'll see how many bits and pieces they bring back for next year's team to see if they can keep the winning streak going. It'll be interesting to see.
It definitely will be. I will be curious. I don't know exactly what their roster was
Yeah.
like, but it's that team is always around, no question.
I saw him in the dome briefly at the beginning of the season. As I looked down the list, I guess I saw more games than I thought I did, but even if in a brief time watching the game, it's amazing their ball control and taking the ball back. And I was at the same time able to complete 4 or 5 laps. So, that was kind of multitasking. Pickleball, soccer game, going laps. But South was definitely the best out of that group. Fun to watch.
Well, the South girls team, they have not lost in the last 2 years. Last year they were unbeaten. They were 16-0-1. They had a tie in there.
Mhm.
But they go 20-0. They go undefeated this year. So we'll see if they can keep that undefeated mark going into the 2027 high school soccer season after running the table this year. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I know we talked about it at one point in time, like the goal differential
It
for
was crazy.
South. It's
Please
crazy.
bring it up again.
Goals for, and goals against. I can't. I'm trying to find the stats, but it's wildly
It was a lot.
disproportionate.
It was a
Like,
lot to a little.
yes, yes, it was. Let's
Lot
put it
to a
that way.
little.
Uh,
I
and
got
again,
I got a stat for you guys.
okay.
Here's so you can come up with this bit of trivia, and there might be a clue if you really think hard on it. But who was the last team to defeat South?
I believe it was Dimond in the championship.
Ooh,
Yeah, it
okay.
was an overtime game up
Yeah.
at Wasilla,
Yep.
and I think one of the NFHS announcers got um, under the weather, so I was able to watch that game up close. Pretty. There was no big goal differential there. I think it was 2-1 in overtime, and really, if it gets to overtime, that's the kind of game Isaiah really likes.
Oh man.
Don't go down this train. Don't
Uh,
go down this set of
yeah.
tracks here. Like this is
Rabbit hole. There's a
yeah,
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now this
Uh,
could be another Isaiah's soapbox or Old
yeah.
Spice deodorant soapbox or whatever we want to.
A rant,
Still,
some type of
still.
rant. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hey, all I know is I'm not the only one that thinks that, so I'm pretty happy.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
pretty happy about that.
there's
Yeah,
other
you
crazy
look
people out
happy.
there. He's smiling at least.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, okay. I have the goal differential.
Okay. Yeah. Give it to me
Oh,
before we go to D1
Uh,
boys.
this is
it's my favorite stat.
uh when I said a lot to a little, that might have been actually an understatement.
Did they give up fewer than 15 goals on the year?
Yes. Keaton, they gave up 3. And
That is wild.
they gave up 3 goals. Once against Chugiak in April, and then another one against West the 2 days after Chugiak. They gave up, so they were in a real streak there.
Yeah.
And then they gave up one against Dimond the middle of May. So since May 14th, they have not given up a goal.
That's
So it was
wild.
196 goals for, 3 against.
I don't think I've
Well,
ever seen anything like that.
That is unbelievable.
I got an old time stat. So Mike Montgomery coached service 88 in a row, and they finally lost. And his point to the media after the game was, "Well, we outshot our opponents 20-0, which because they lost 1-0, their opponents had to get at least one shot." But I don't know. Just trying to do the math.
It's just crazy. I mean, to think that you have those type of numbers.
That is
like,
we've
flabbergasting.
We've seen some pretty lopsided goal or run differentials, things like that. But that might be the most stunning one I've seen. That is
without a doubt. That takes the cake.
That is unreal.
Yeah. But it's
Well,
attested to how good they are, not just offensively, but defensively.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Put me on the side of that's not the most important stat in the world. I'd feel okay if we never brought it up again, but
okay.
it comes up pretty often.
But I feel like it has to be important. I mean, how can it not be? That's just
to give
comes
up
up
only 3 goals.
It comes up more often.
Wild.
Comes up more often than the Seahawks.
Well, I can remedy that.
Okay. Well, let's not. So, moving on. Division I boys soccer state champions for the first time since 2018. The Dimond boys, the Lynx, winning their seventh state title in program history as Dimond taking down West Valley in the championship, 1-0. Dimond in the quarterfinal round won 4-1 over Chugiak, and then with a two-goal win over West, the defending state champion from a year ago. And then West Valley, who was the number one seed, they played service in their opening round game, won 4-1. In the semifinals, they won 2-0 over Juneau, and then Dimond in West Valley. I think West Valley, if I remember correctly, may have won in the regular season. I don't know if that's sounding correct. I want to say
against
I know it was
Dimond.
against Dimond. Yeah, I know
No,
they had a regular
let's
season
look.
matchup. I know there was more than one goal scored. That's for sure.
Yeah, a 1-0 game in the championship. Those are the kind of West Valley
I think Dimond. Yeah, they did.
Lost to Dimond 2-0. The first game of the year, April
What
16th.
was
I believe
what
it
was the
was
overall?
I believe it
What's the
was 30
overall?
32 degrees.
I got to know the overall goal differential. Nah,
For Dimond.
for anybody.
Oh, okay.
Well, for
Let's
Okay.
keep going.
West Valley was 71-4, only 10 against. I mean, that's
Wow.
Okay, that's my fault. I sparked that conversation. My bad.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's all good. But Dimond with their seventh state title in program history, and as I mentioned, their first since 2018. Brad, I know that you got deep ties, obviously, with the Dimond Lynx community. How are they feeling out there about a soccer state championship?
Well, soccer's important. It seems like too. There's a not only just a Diamond, but a variety of places where um, athletes have come over from places where football or soccer are really important. So they kind of contribute to those efforts. Um, yeah, I used to coach girls soccer, which is interesting because I knew nothing about it. That was I did know that the team with more goals won. So
That's a good one to know.
Yeah. I mean,
That's wise.
usually most sports work that way. I mean, like unless it's
Unless,
golf.
unless
I
it's
mean,
golf
yeah. So, I mean, it's a good thing to have more points at the end of the game to win games.
or
Should
tennis. Tennis is just
True.
wild. I mean, it's more points, but is it points because there's love involved and 15 and 30? It's very confusing.
I did some.
Isaiah's always bringing up love.
I like it.
Uh,
All right. So Division One soccer wrapping up last week, as did D2 soccer, girls and boys. Division Two state championship on the boys' side of things. The Soldotna Stars with a 1-0 victory over the Ketchikan Kings in last week's state championship game. Soldotna also not giving up a goal in their run to the state title. They won 9-0 in their opening game against Grace Christian, 4-0 against Homer, and then that 1-0 game against Ketchikan. On the girls' side of things, the Palmer Moose win the state championship over the Kenai Central Cardinals, 3-1. Palmer defeating Ketchikan 4-0 in the quarterfinal, and then a huge win over the Homer Mariners, 7-1. And Kenai getting to the state championship game after getting past Grace 3-1 in that 4-5 matchup in the quarterfinals. And then Kenai with the overtime win
shootout.
shootout.
It,
Yeah.
it was
All
a
right.
it was a wild game. Kenai had that game won. They were up 2-0 in the first half, and then Soldotna came back, and I'm not kidding. It couldn't have been more than 30 seconds left in extra time, and Soldotna ended up kind of kicking the ball at the goal. The goalie misplayed it a little bit, score, tied it up. Credit to Kenai, though. I mean, the Kenai team, the players all went around the goalie. I had heard and I had been told by a pretty reliable source that the goalie for Kenai was their first year playing goalie. They were a senior. They hadn't really played goalie before. So for Kenai to end up winning in the shootout, they ended up
Yeah.
winning 2 goals till Soldotna's won in the shootout. it was a wild time, that's for sure.
That is crazy.
It
That
was
is
it was
crazy.
wild. It really was.
Isaiah,
Yeah.
it almost seems like you were working the soccer tournament. You got a lot of information there. You got a deep hatred of the overtime game. So what was it like out in the wind there,
Well, I can tell you
watching
that
soccer?
it was Thursday was very cold. However, Thursday afternoon was really
Okay.
nice and it was nice and warm. Friday during the day was awesome. And then it started to cloud up a little bit, and Saturday was a little windier, rainier kind of thing. Uh, my issue with the overtime is the fact that you play a guaranteed another 20 minutes, whether there's a bunch of goals scored or not. I've said this rant before, and I will say it again. It makes no sense that after 40 minutes of
Don't say
play,
it again.
after 80 minutes of play, they do an additional 10 minutes and 10 minutes, and there's no golden goal or sudden death. They have to do that with the 5 minutes. It just makes no sense to me. It literally makes no sense. I don't know that any other sport that does that.
I think
It's unreal.
one thing when you tune in, you not only get sports with us, but you also get a weather report. So thanks for letting us know about weather up there.
Well,
Somebody thought that was funny.
It was definitely, well, I mean, this spring, as we've talked about, this spring has been cold. It's been wet. So to have a few minutes of nice sun, and when the sun was out, it was warm. It was great. I know the players on the field enjoyed it too. But yeah, it was a good tournament. I didn't make it over to Wasilla, but I was over at Colony the whole time, and some good soccer games. The Palmer girls they jumped out all over Homer, and they were on it. They after watching Palmer play in that semifinal matchup, I did not think they were going to lose. They were playing really, really impressive soccer.
Well, another soccer season in the books. So maybe during the off season they'll change the rule. Who knows for you, Isaiah?
I really hope so.
Just for you.
I can tell you, I've petitioned for 15 years for that to change. 15 years at ASAA, because it still makes no sense to me. No one will ever be able to explain it to me with an argument that makes sense. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just
okay. We get it.
Doesn't make sense.
You're like Barkley. You're like, well, Barkley, Charles Barkley, often wrong but never in doubt.
No, I'm definitely right in the soccer overtime. 100%. I'm definitely not wrong.
Well, let's just move on to a different.
Don't take a vote. Don't take a vote.
Let's not get you all riled up. So
Seahawks.
Anyway.
Seahawks.
Oh my gosh. No, just stay away. Stay away. Let's move on to baseball and softball. You got any strong opinions there, Isaiah? Like, are you okay?
Oh no, I'm strong opinions. I'm glad they decided to do this. Strong opinion was Division II baseball, and I had said it at the time. So this is not something recent. I thought Division II baseball was too many teams with 8 teams, with so few teams in Division II baseball, which made the quarterfinals really brutal, especially considering the Division II teams. And this is the same with Division I teams. And I know Brad's mentioned some of this too. It's about pitching. You don't have as many pitchers. And so for Division II, they had 8 teams. And so you got Thursday games, Friday, Saturday. So by the time Saturday rolls around, a lot of teams, especially at the D2 level, don't have pitchers left.
Right.
So one team that had a few different pitchers, Soldotna, I think, won. Palmer won the first one, I believe it was. And then Soldotna's won the last 4 or 5.
Yeah,
because they don't, and they've been blowouts because the other teams don't have any pitchers left. So this year is the first year, and I'm very happy they made this change. Soldotna, I believe, has moved up to Division I baseball.
Correct.
And Division II is just 4 teams for the state tournament, semifinals and a championship.
Yep.
Well, and a 3rd, 4th place game. So just 2 games, which is great. I think it'll lead to a lot of better baseball. and a better product for Division II on the field, especially in a championship setting.
Well, speaking of D2 baseball, the bracket being released yesterday, and these games are going to take place down at Coral Seymour Memorial Ballpark down in Kenai. Uh, Petersburg and Kodiak will get things started on Friday to open up D2 baseball, and then Homer and Monroe as well in the semifinals. And then, as you mentioned, Isaiah, just 2 days of baseball. You'll have the semifinals and then the championship and also third place game on Saturday, June 6th. And again, this all taking place down on the peninsula at Coral Seymour Memorial Park. Beautiful ballpark, by the way. If you've never been
It
there,
is. It is nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
where the Oilers used to play, and I was down there for D2 last year, and Isaiah, I agree with Isaiah. Not that I want to, but pitching, a couple of years ago watching Delta, and it's 25 to, it's no deal on them, but just the whole setup for pitching with the smaller schools, it's a bad look.
Yeah, I mean, when you don't have that many arms to go to,
yeah,
it's just tough. Yeah, I agree with it. I mean, it makes sense from that standpoint, especially with all the pitching rules and pitch counts and things of that nature. So I think it was the right move, as you mentioned, Isaiah. Moving on to D1 baseball, that bracket also came out. But Brad, did you want to recap anything from the Cook Inlet on the baseball side of things? I know Service won the CIC this past weekend.
Yeah, nothing new there. We've been kind of singing their praises all year with Nikolai, especially. He won the Gatorade and championship game. I think he pitched 6 innings. We talked previously about him, 7 home runs, setting the all-time record. And then in the championship game, Braun Prakowski, which is a running name, he gave me a little sideways look a couple years ago as an umpire. But I know his dad, so at least a little bit. He didn't mind me, chastising him a little bit. But he got the save to finish things off. But a 4-2 game, so good effort by South in that game, and just helped set up. I don't know if you could come back to the bracketing and the seeding. It's going to be interesting, I think.
Yeah, it will be an interesting D1 baseball tournament. So Service is going to actually take on Soldotna in the opening round game on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. So Soldotna getting in after they struggled in their last couple of games in their conference tournament, and so they're getting an at-large into the D1 tournament. Service winning the Cook Inlet Conference already got the I guess that you can say it, the automatic berth. They were going to get in no matter what. I mean, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. So, but Service and Soldotna will get things going in the opening round game. It all starts on the Division One baseball side of things at 10 a.m. between Juneau and Colony. Then the 1 o'clock game, West Valley and South, as South, as you mentioned, Brad, coming in second in the Cook Inlet Conference. And then Palmer and Dimond. Dimond putting together a little bit of a run there in the CIC and getting into the state tournament. So they will take on the Palmer Moose in their opening round game. So it should be an interesting opening round games there on the D1 baseball side of things. Service and Soldotna, I mean, Service obviously projected to probably be the favorite if you were, kind of penciling things out. But Soldotna, I know they've lost in the last couple of games, kind of faltered down the stretch of the season there, but don't be surprised if they somehow eke something out because this is always a strategy. Who are you going to throw in the opening round?
Service, one of their few losses, maybe their only loss, came to Soldotna earlier in the season. And I think teams, again, to your point, Keaton, you got to be really careful about saving a pitcher and kind of thinking that, this is a should-win game. So, you pitch the wrong guy. Now you're behind and tied, or maybe tied, and the pressure gets on you. I've always been an advocate of using your best pitcher and you know getting yourself to the championship game where you're always going to have a chance to win, rather than this was one of my things, and that was you don't want to lose early, but have your pitching in perfect order because you know it's just a deal. So you get to that championship game and you maybe don't have your best pitcher, but you're in the championship game, and you got that chance to win, other than others that have lost earlier.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. It's always interesting to see how these coaches want to handle that because, I mean, I'm assuming that Rylan Nikolai will probably pitch maybe a little bit in that opening round game. Does he go, a you know, full game? Probably not, because they want to save his arm for the potentially, semifinal and championship. So I'm sure. So, but Service also has other guys, uh, at their disposal that they can put on the mound, and that's a good position to be in. But it'll be an interesting game there, 7 o'clock
I think
at Mulcahy.
I think one interesting rule is, let's say you put Nikolai out there the first inning and you score 3 or 4 runs, and
Yep.
then you take him out and you're able to win the game. Then with the second pitcher, the pitch count's not going to preclude him from, coming back, you know, the next day. So you get more use out of your top pitcher. So
Right.
that's one strategic element.
Always some strategery.
Gotta have strategery.
Making up words here. Making up words. All right.
It's it's a good word.
It's a good word. Yeah, it is a good word. Division One baseball games, by the way, taking place at Mulcahy Stadium. You can stream them live online. AlaskaLegionBaseball.com is where you're going to be able to find those games on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. All right.
Keaton,
Softball. Go ahead.
I was walking by CIC games, and they were being presented by the stream. And I was in conversation, they said the audio wasn't working. And so I was sitting in the box without a ticket, but I walked down to where the streaming was taking place. And our buddy Nate Sagan, not too happy. I'll put it that way. He was, I can't repeat exactly what he said. And I've never heard him speak in such a manner. So I thought, yeah, this would be a good time for me to leave.
Yeah. Nate does a great job, by the way, of
He
broadcasting
does.
those games. And then also he did PA for a lot of games at Mulcahy this season as well.
He was
So
he was doing both. And keeping stats. That's like, I don't even know if that's possible. Vince Scully couldn't do it.
No, that boggles my mind. Yeah, to do PA, then do play-by-play, keep the stats, keep in the book. It's impressive. So I'm pretty sure Nate will be calling some of the state championship games. I know I'm calling a couple of games of the state tournament as well. So it should be fun. Should be a good time. So the other sport that involves a stick and a ball, softball, also taking part state championships for softball. Those brackets have been released as well. Some of you have probably already seen the brackets. Now, Isaiah, how do you feel about pool play in terms of starting off a state tournament?
I think I know how.
You know something? I feel like some of this is a trap.
Oh, okay.
I feel like some of this is a trap to get more people mad at me. Maybe.
No, not mad.
Know.
This is increasing listenership and viewership.
I will say this. I am not a proponent, and I'm going to be consistent on this. I'm not a proponent of the double elimination tournaments for state. That's just not something that I'm a big proponent of. There's reasons why. I know some people don't like those reasons, but after all, I could get into a whole bunch of other things about it. but there's a whole business side of these things that I know some people don't think about, but there really is. Now, it's less impactful in softball than it is in volleyball, but it still does have some impact. That being said, if you're going to do double elimination, especially for softball, with the fact that they're used to doing so many games in a day, full games.
Right. Yeah.
It makes sense to do a pool play, let the players decide it on the field, and then move into the bracket. Now, that being said, next year this is going to look different because of the RPI stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So is this the last year of the pool play? My guess is probably, but I don't know how they're planning on structuring any of that stuff. I haven't been privy to any of that information, but it's the way that they do it. Thursday being pool play, everybody kind of sees each other, and then they start playing. It ends up being a lot of games, and it's a lot harder to stream these things. That's why the NFHS network is only streaming the last day of games, because there's 4 fields going on. That's more than the basketball tournament with number of courts. And we just don't have that kind of equipment. We don't have that. There's just not enough. So that's why the streaming for the network doesn't happen until Saturday, because it goes basically down to 2 fields on Saturday.
Well, I'll speak to some of those things. Like in softball in general, when they play, they're shorter games. Plus, I think Isaiah, you did say this, that they're kind of used to the double elimination format, and that's kind of in line with how they normally play. And if they're on travel teams or in a tournament, that really lines up. And also, I would say volleyball. You go outside to play volleyball, you're not going to, play one game and go back to the hotel. It's designed with pool play. You play several games. Basketball, I mean, people have talked double elimination for basketball. Well, you can't play a couple of basketball games, all out. But volleyball is kind of used to that. So I think those are points that suggest that you're not always right.
But my counter has always been, that's what club teams do. That's what summer leagues do. That's what other things do. And that's fine. Get more games in, travel, all that stuff. I just think a state tournament's different. And I remember when the volleyball games were the quarterfinals, you have the semifinals. Those semifinal games were crazy, and it was awesome. It was wild, and everything depended on those games, just like basketball has, just like a lot of other sports have. And, again, I could rehash all the stuff. You see it in the numbers, you see it in the crowd size, you see it in the revenues, you see it in a blah, 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 blah. I know a lot of people don't care about that. But all that being said, I just think a state tournament is different. Now, that being said, I understand that softball, with the number of teams that are doing it, and the way softball hasn't had a lot of the cross play, there's some difference on that. But again, I would still prefer the 8-team or 4-team, however you want to do it, and you just play. But again, I know I'm in the minority on that, or I should say I'm not in the vocal minority on that. But
well, I know one thing you bring up, Isaiah, and that is revenue. And I know you have been in charge of keeping an eye on that, but I would say that revenue isn't the most important thing. And one example would be middle school sports. It would cost more money to have them, but it's going to cost something, education or opportunity, to not have them. And also, and I think you shared last week that there's things with C teams and JVs and kind of cutting back on high school sports and sports to be taken out of there. So I don't know. I get it with revenue, and I don't mean to be the wrong party on this particular issue, but I like when that's not one of the top decider on whether sports exist.
Well, I'm talking about in a small window of a state tournament. And that's because all these games you see here, all those volleyball games, I mean, you even look at it with basketball games. They wanted to turn, I ran the numbers that they wanted to putting that into a double elimination. I don't think people understand the astronomical numbers you're looking at with that. I mean, they're astronomical, and we're talking about one thing. I would fully agree. You're not gonna at the high school level in Alaska, you are not gonna run if you tried to run every program only if they made money, high school sports wouldn't exist really. And I don't even know if some of the basketball programs would exist, frankly. I mean, it's just not that's not a thing. But that being said, people have to keep an eye on it because those things have to operate. It has to get paid for somehow. And
To
that's
help close the debate, I would say like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this debate, make sure you tune in next week because it will continue. And we'll let Keaton play next time, too.
Oh,
they'll
okay. I was just
they're
going to announce the teams. That's what I.
yeah. Well, that's we get on these sidetracks. That's
It's good.
again,
Yeah, I get
it's
it.
there is the sports side, which is great, but there is also a business side to all these sports things. And people
Sure.
sometimes forget that.
Yeah.
And basketball, let's go 5A. Well, that's going to add about $80,000 worth of costs and no revenue to support it. So what do? I mean, that's just
I guess you get involved with the Wolverines.
You got to get
the Wolverines is a business.
Wolverines is a business. ASAA, ASAA is a business too. I mean, again, not everything. If ASAA ran like a business, there wouldn't have been ASAA would not put up, money for music and other things because those don't make any money, obviously. But those that do need to maximize that so the other sports can. The NCAA right now is going through all of this exact same stuff.
True. I mean,
they are the
with the
non-rev
NIL
sports
for
versus the rev sports, and how do you
football
pay
and basketball? Yeah.
how do you pay all football makes all the money, but the non-rev sports that don't make money, are you going to do them with NIL too? Well, you can't do that unless the football makes the money because those other ones aren't putting up the money for it. So again, it's a topic that if people really want more information on business of sports, you just let me know, and maybe I'll just do a full-on sports podcast on the
There we
business of
go.
sports.
Hey, that might not be a bad idea. I think
It's
pull back
there's
the
a
curtain
lot of
little bit.
interesting stuff in there that some people don't really think about, and I can fully admit I didn't even really think about until I got into the middle of it.
Right. All right.
Well, why don't you say who's in the tournament?
Do we know who's in the Division II softball tournament? I mean, let's take a look at it. All right. So Thursday, Friday,
I got a little bit.
It's Saturday.
I got a little bit.
Okay.
Isaiah will probably disagree, but Taylor Paysard, which John Kuhn kind of corrected me on pronunciation, but everybody's going to know her name because she's an unbelievable freshman and hard to determine what her top sport is. I've heard softball might be it, and I think in the championships of the Rail Belt Conference, she hit a home run to take that into extra innings. If any of you saw volleyball, and I think Keaton, you and I did, maybe coming out of the loser bracket, maybe not, but she was an incredible hitter. I think she was the hitter of the tournament. Again, still a freshman back then, and a great basketball presence in the post. And I mean, she's maybe as good an athlete as I've seen, probably at any level and either gender. I mean, she just is a standout, and I don't know. I think other schools need to find a good school outside for her to go to because otherwise it just has every appearance that she's going to have Colony dominating for years to come in a variety of sports.
She's got a 25 game hitting streak right now. So, I
That's pretty
mean,
good.
yeah, that's pretty solid. Actually, I think it's even longer now after I think it's up to 27. So, and she's going to be leading her team into the state tournament. So, Colony is actually going to open up in pool play against Bartlett um, on Thursday. South and Wasilla also part of that Pool A as well. Pool B for Division One softball consists of Sitka and Juneau, who will get things started at 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, and then Chugiak and Service, the other two teams on the Pool B side of things. So. Again, it's pool play to start, and then you get into double elimination, and um, yeah, it's going to get interesting in those that first day of ironing things out. Of if you are
Yeah.
confused on where your team is at, just go to ASAA 365. It'll tell you, what field and where they are in the bracket.
Yeah, definitely all
It's
those
kind of funny, and
brackets.
this happens once in a while, but so I mean, you got Sitka and Juneau
Yeah,
traveling up to, you know, I guess the Valley to contest their game. I mean, that's
yeah. I mean,
kind of
why?
funny to maybe. Well, I guess it's pool play. You're going to end up
Right.
playing all those
Yeah,
teams.
you gotta play everybody else, but you're kind of right. I mean, it'd be kind of nice just the convenience and time factor of having Sifka and Juneau play maybe their opening round game down on in the southeast, but it is kind of ironic, but nevertheless. Division two field is made up of Delta, Soldotna, and Homer in Pool A for D2. These games also starting on Friday for Division two
Thir-
softball. Or is it Thursday?
Pool play is on Thursday.
Sorry, pool play is Thursday. My apologies. Pool play is on Thursday, June 4th, and then they will get into seating and things like that on Friday. So again, Pool A made up of Delta, Soldotna, and Homer. Pool B is Palmer, North Pole, and Kodiak on the Pool B side of things. And again, these pool play June 4th, and then the rest of the bracketing and things like that on the 5th and 6th. The 6th, the NFHS network will have the coverage of the state championships for softball.
One thing out of CIC, Chugach was the top seed going to the CIC tournament. And if you want to talk about run differential, and apparently we do, Chugach beat Bartlett in the championship game 15-0. So
See?
it seems like they're on a bit of a roll um, going into those state championship.
Yeah, they are in a roll. That is for sure. I think their shortstop, Chugach shortstop, Izzy Swordstrad, I think she was like 7 for 7 in 2 games in that Cook Inlet Conference tournament. 15 RBIs, by the way. Um,
That's pretty good too.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh, thanks to the Alaska Sports Report and Van Williams keeping us informed and up to date on those games. Um, yeah. So if you ever need to get caught up on any games, like in the immediate, Van Williams, Alaska Legion or Alaska Baseball, AlaskaLegionBaseball.com. And then also the Alaska Sports Report. They'll keep you informed with everything that's going on in the state of softball and baseball.
Lots going on.
If we're ahead on sports, just getting maybe into some individual things. The Alaska Hall of Fame induction ceremony takes place on what month is it? June, the
June
3rd of
3rd.
June.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different specific inductees. Some of the other awards are kind of they're holding back until the actual event for suspense, I think, purposes. But Sean Rash is being inducted. He's already in the Bowling Hall of Fame. Someone asked me, the high school bowling? No, the Bowling Hall of Fame. So I think that's pretty amazing. I know we had made some contact to get him on tonight. He's just finishing a clinic. And Isaiah, I know you appreciate this because he kind of checked in that he had to take some kids out to eat. And I know Isaiah, when we traveled, what do kids do? They always ask you, when are we going to eat? When are we going to eat? So,
Yep.
do you remember the rule we had, Isaiah?
We had a lot of rules.
It's that not so many, but the rule regarding eating is we're either eating or going to eat. So if we're not eating right now, that means we're on our way to eat. So that kind of limited those questions somewhat. Butch Lincoln also up for Hall of Fame. He's
Yep.
uh, just got back into Anchorage, I believe, today. So and then we'll look to either get a Zoom or an interview with those guys at a later point in time. And Keaton, you might help me on that third. I think it's Gus. Is it
Uh,
Schumacher that is that third inductee?
I believe Dick Griffith, the backcountry adventure guy, is also part of that induction class as well. And then the event, I think, is the 1993 state basketball championship between East and Bartlett that went to like triple overtime. Um,
Right.
is the event that's going to be honored as well. So
Hmm.
the
I think one
ceremony.
one
Oh,
thing,
go ahead.
Keaton, is Harlow, our buddy Harlow, who's we're going to have on a future broadcast for sure, has a lot of information, but he is the Hall of Fame, Healthy Futures type of guy. And I know he was seeking people associated with that 1993 team to invite to the ceremony so they could, represent that group. And kind of nice when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, that would be cool if anybody's around from those 93 teams for East and for Bartlett. That would be pretty cool to see for at the ceremony. The ceremony, by the way, is taking place, as Brad mentioned, on June 3rd at the Anchorage Museum. I believe it's free for the public to come and check out and attend. So if you have nothing going on a Wednesday night, go check out the Alaska Sports Hall of Fame ceremony at the Anchorage Museum. And I believe the start time I want to say is like 6, but don't hold me to that. Um,
Oh, we'll give out your phone number at the end of the show just in
sure.
case
Yeah, go for that.
people want to do
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like maybe things like the library, museum. This is like one time a year we go to the museum because we're at so many games. That's our job. We
Uh,
like the museum. I'm just saying.
I love the museum. I actually hold a yearly membership. Kids love it. They want to go. So we go every once in a great while.
Well,
Wow. Nice work.
when you travel, you always go through the museum. So when you come back, you can tell your administrators, "Hey, we went to the Michael Jordan, Nike Museum."
I got a
Kind of.
story about, I think I told that story one time. Did I ever tell you when I went down to Portland? Actually, well, at
I don't think
Beaverton,
so.
and
Fire,
I got on
fire,
Nike
fire it
campus.
up.
I feel like
Yeah.
I did. I feel like it does. But anyway, I was traveling with UAA, and it was an off day. It was a Friday, so I think we were going down to Western Oregon, or we just left Western Oregon, whatever it was. And I made a stop in Portland, went over to Beaverton. I was like, you know what? I'm going to check out the Nike campus. I didn't realize that the Nike campus is like a closed campus, and like there's security,
That's right.
right? I told you this, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, security gate was open. I'm driving right on campus. I'm like, this is awesome. This is so cool. And I'm like, I don't know if the security guard was caught off guard or what, but he just kind of looks at me like, what the heck are you doing? Nobody ever came and got me. And I parked, like I'm going through the parking lot and I'm seeing names like Venus Williams got her own parking spot, like all these people who are sponsored by like Nike. And I'm like, wow, this is cool. And I park. I don't know what spot I parked in, but I just get out, start walking around campus. And I'm not like with a tour group or anything like that. Everybody's, they got badges and things to get in the buildings. And one of them is the Michael Jordan shoe collection, all the Jordan shoes. And I follow a person in, and there I am, right there, just like checking the campus out,
Love it.
somehow skirted around
Behind
security.
bars.
Behind, but yeah, pretty much. That was great. Fantastic.
Here's
Didn't get
here's
arrested.
here's my Nike campus story. not that we're going to play top that story, but so we go there, and Isaiah, you know Jay Kane.
I do.
He he got us a pass to go to the Nike store, and so my partner in crime, John Paxson, we're going to the Nike store, and we're pretty excited. But I look out there, and there's like a Disneyland line that stretches way around this big building, and I'm asking, okay, now where are we going to go? And John just kept on walking, so we got in that line, and from the back of the line to the front of the store, 1 hour. But
Crazy.
Count
some
me
pretty
out.
good gear once you got in there. Well, my
Yeah.
grandkids all have those little Nike shoes,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's a good thing.
So I just Googled it really quick. Is it open to the public, the main campus in Beaverton, Oregon? It is not. To enter the campus, you have to be an employee or escorted by an employee and have a valid security badge.
Or Keaton.
Or me. Just open a
Or
gate
just be
and let's
Keaton.
go. Let's go. And I'm like,
I think
oh, cow.
if you're with Alaska Sports Talk, you got a logo.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
It is virtually.
That security guard got fired that day or something. I don't know. Or like it was his last day on the job. Like, I don't know. Like, anyway, good stuff. All right. Anything else before we sign it off?
I'm just happy for people to go out. It's gonna be a nice weekend.
It is going to
Softball,
be a nice
baseball.
week. It is. Temperature is going to be in the upper 60s, low 70s in the middle of the week, and it should be some good weather for softball and baseball to wrap up the high school sports season. These are the last state championships
They are.
of the year.
Well, we've done a pretty good job covering track and had a couple of track coaches on, but that event finished this last weekend at school. And Keaton, and you take pride in the fact that Chugiak just dominant. And I was there for the last few events and just watched Chugiak and their depth. And just they got freshmen, they got seniors. We talked to one of their sprinters. He's a freshman, so you're always saying, what's he going to be like? And then talk to one of their seniors, and she's going to Utah Valley. And before she does, she's going to pull the BYU trick. She's going to go on a mission trip. And she told me she was going to Pocatello. And I said, well, it's too bad you didn't get an assignment here in the United States. But
we got listeners down there. What are we doing?
Well,
listeners all over the world, baby.
Yeah, well, I know with Isaiah, I can't be the most hated guy on the broadcast.
Well, with that note, we're going to wrap it up. All right. Get out there, watch some high school baseball and softball as well. We'll be at the games this weekend for sure. For Brad Lowers, Isaiah Vreeman, myself, Keaton Homer, we'll see you out of the ball fields.